I want to give a little bit of validation to myself for this. Growing up in a very small rural Arkansas town, my friend, one of my friends, had an American father but a Japanese mother. Some people would call him a Japanese American. To me, he was just an American. He was like everyone else. He looked different. He acted different. A lot of times he talked different. He was born in the United States. He actually graduated as a valedictorian of his school. Very, very smart person. Other people looked down upon him. Other people judged him. He was something different than normal rural Arkansas. That's just the way it was growing up. I have never really had that opinion about anybody, really. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get on with this video. This video really is specifically for and directed towards one person. I want everyone to watch this video. And it's not because I want to publicly humiliate this person. It's not because I want to call him out and make a joke of him. Anything like that. Nothing that negative. Now, will this video make him angry? Possibly. I've already given him a warning that I was going to make the video, and I've already told him this video may make you angry. His response was that he is open-minded and that he learns from other people. Let's see how this goes, because I don't want him angry at me. He also has a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, obviously. He and I are the same age. We're both 54 years old. I used to be an owner-operator. I have a lot of owner-operator friends that I talk to, still to this day. He is an independent. He owns his own business, his truck, his trailer, and he is the driver. In all essence, there's another word for that, a sole proprietorship. And I don't know how he has his business listed as a sole proprietorship, an LLC. I don't know. I don't know how he has it listed. But that will come into play with this video as well. There is a lot of road to cover in this video. Hopefully, I will not make too many enemies out of this video. My wife has already warned me. I talked to her about this whole subject. I came in Friday last week. Today is Monday. I came in Friday. I told her I was very mad. I was very upset. I had just made a video about fake truckers and fake trucking channels. I really mislabeled that video because that should have been misleading information. It wasn't clickbait, but I really mislabeled it. It should have been more about misleading information that is giving out. And if you haven't watched that video, it's the last video in my list. You can go back and watch it. It has a lot to do with this video. It's not fake that I'm talking about here. It's more misleading. It has to do with misleading information, confusing information, how someone can put a video out that other people can see different sides of it and get different opinions out of it. I understand that some of my videos are really hard to follow at times. I don't run off of a script. I just run through thoughts in my head, and it gets confusing. So I can see where maybe I just have a wrong impression of this person. I've come to misleading conclusions about this person. I fully respect him. I call him sir a lot. I've told him many times that I have a lot of respect for him. And this is all still true. It is just some of his opinions, some of his statements, some of his words, and we disagree on. We do have a lot in common. And I think fundamentally, we are on the same page. But when we get more down to specifics or different subjects, we vary differently. I think the reason why, and I'm assuming here, you should never, never, never assume, because when you assume, you take that word, it will make an ass out of you and me. That's why you never assume. But I'm going to assume. I assume he has immigrated here from another country. There's a lot of points out there that point to the direction that he immigrated. So let's get on with this video. Let's see where it goes to. And I want to say right from the start, I challenge you, sir, to give a video response to this. Later on in the video, I'm also going to challenge you to something else in your video. You may or may not do it, but it would mean a lot to me if you would. But it's your choice whether you do it or not. I don't control your channel. I don't control the content on your channel. I don't mean to bash your channel. It's just, I think we're having a difference of opinions. We're on the same page. We're just on different paragraphs. So let's get on with this, see where it goes. I'm going to add in some footage of me driving today to kind of break up the video to where you don't just sit and look at me. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that. First of all, what I want to say is, why are immigrants not extremely patriotic? Now, I know I have seen some trucks out here with immigrants in them, in the driver's seat, that says words like, no farmers, no food, support your farmers, different USA flags on the trucks, different patriotic symbols on the truck. I see this, and I wonder if they are really patriotic, they are really excited to be in this country, in the United States, or if maybe it's just a cover-up. That is doing a lot of assuming, and I don't know. I can't pick and choose what everybody out here in the United States is thinking, especially with truck drivers, because truck drivers are all over the place in their minds and their thinking. But I wonder why a lot of immigrants are not super patriotic. It seems like most are just like normal truck drivers. They're extremely grumpy, at times even angry. But for immigrants, you would think they would be crazy excited to be in the United States. When I think about this, I think about, what would I be if I was in another country? Let's just take Russia, for example. That is about as far from the United States ways and means that you can think of, in my opinion. How would it be if I just uprooted myself, went to Russia, I did not speak the language, I did not understand the truck, I did not understand anything about their laws, their rules, their regulations, about how to operate. I believe they do even drive on the opposite side of the road over there. They drive in the left lane instead of the right lane that we do here in the US. So that would be major, major, major culture shock for me to go to that country. I would have to think, why am I here? What is the benefit of me being here? Now, let's say I made $2,000 a month in the United States. Let's say I went to Russia and I could make $10,000 a month driving in Russia. Would that money alone be enough for me to be a truck driver in Russia? I don't believe so. I don't believe so, because I would be so out of it that the money wouldn't mean that much to me. I would leave my family. I would leave my home life. I would leave everything that I knew my entire life to just uproot and go to a foreign country just to be a truck driver. I don't see how that would even be feasible for me to do just for money. I just don't. Now, if I was in a really bad country, which in my opinion, the United States is better than all of the countries in the entire world put together, the United States is still better. That's just my honest opinion of the matter. So I have a very, very high standard when I think of the United States. So it would have to be even better than the United States for me to want to go there. Not just for money. There would be something even greater of an ambition and a goal for me to go there. So that brings up the subject of, why do people immigrate to the United States? Well, it's obvious. The United States is the land of opportunity. It is freedoms. It is the land of milk and honey. It is the land of abundance. The American dream. You can go from almost nothing to having almost anything that you can think of. With hard work, it pays off. And I believe that is true, but I also believe that the American dream is for sale. I believe it is for sale. When I think of this, what I think of is the misconception that the United States is having a driver shortage. I want to do an entire video on the United States driver shortage. Here's one thing I want you to think about. If there was a driver shortage in the United States, let's compare it to the military draft. Okay? And I think that is a good thing to compare it to. If there was a shortage of drivers in the United States, we were having an epidemic level of driver shortage in the United States. There would be opportunities over and above for people living in the United States to get into trucking, especially to have their own truck, to have their own business, to become a company that recruits drivers to that company. you would have so many opportunities. There would be so many trucks on the market at such great deals that companies would just almost give you a truck and beg you to come to work for them because they have freight stacked to the rafters in warehouses that desperately needs to be moved. I assure you that the driver shortage is a misconception. It is to the point of being an absolute lie. When I first started driving a truck in the United States, I was a company driver. Up until 2007, I was doing good. I bought my first house with company driving money. After that, I became an owner-operator, and that's where everything went downhill for me. It was like as soon as I became an owner-operator, life got hard. And it got harder and harder and harder and harder until the point right before I parked the semi-truck. Things in my life was an absolute disaster. I could not find loads. I could not find good paying loads. The repairs on my truck was astronomical. Tires were out of this world in price. I would have loved to have had a later model truck. I would drive by in my 2005 truck and think, I would love to have a 2023 model. But I know good and well that I can't afford it. And if I can't afford the repairs on this truck without a DEF system, how am I going to repair a truck with a DEF system, especially if it does not have a warranty on it? Those thoughts ran through my mind on a daily, weekly basis. During that period of time, I saw the number of immigrants in the United States rising just out of this world crazy. I think we are being deceived. I really think we are being deceived by our federal government. If there was so much opportunity, if there was so much reason for a driver shortage, then there would be opportunities abound for us in the United States. Why were they all given, in my opinion, to immigrants? Why was the best given to someone else? Why was it not an America First initiative? Because I can tell you each year it got harder for me as an owner-operator. My first year as an owner-operator, I did fairly well, and I knew nothing about being an owner-operator. I was taking my truck to repair shops for dumb things that I could have very easily fixed in a matter of hours in my driveway. But I would take it to a repair shop. That didn't make sense why my first year was so good. My last year, I had the entire garage packed full of tools. I even went and rented a storage building to keep extra parts, tools, and equipment to work on my truck. I would spend sometimes 24 hours straight with just little short periods of breaks working on my truck to keep it rolling, to keep an income for my family. Now, does that sound like a situation where you are in a very prime situation and there's a driver shortage? No. When I said I would compare it to the military, it's the same way. Right now, as we speak, the military is a choice. It's your choice to join the military. They have standards, they have criteria for you to join the military. If we broke out more, if there was an absolute epidemic that we needed more people in the military to protect the United States from a foreign threat or an internal country threat, and a draft was initiated, those rules would be relaxed. That criteria would be relaxed. It would probably be a situation, every man that wanted to go out, every woman that wanted to go out and pick up arms and fight the oppression, come on board. We will train you quickly, tell you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. Let's get it going. We need more people. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. See what I'm comparing here? What I see, why if we had a draft and we had able-bodied men and women in the United States, why would we pull people from other countries and throw them in our military? People that you don't know, that hasn't been vetted, that hasn't been background tested or checked in any way, and you want to give them a gun and they don't even have any patriotism or any sense of homeland for the United States, but you want to give them guns and tell them to fight for our country. The very first thing they would say is, what's in it for me? I don't want to fight your war for you. What's in it for me? I can promise you, I have had a long history of truck drivers in my family. Like I have said many times on this channel. I don't know if I've said it or not, but I've had a long history of ex-military members in my family as well. Every truck driver that was in my family was in the military as well. Every one. My grandfather fought in World War II. My dad fought in the Korean War. And you may think, well, you're only 54. How could he have fought in the Korean War? My father was 40 years old when I was born. I was born in 1970. Okay? He got a very late start in life. But he was a Korean War veteran. The other people, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law, both were Vietnam vets. All of these people went into this military knowing that their life could be given up for country. And then they turned to be an American truck driver. These men were proud Americans. They were patriotic Americans. My father is buried in a graveyard, in a cemetery, and he has a military headstone on his grave. Because he wanted it that way. That's powerful, in my opinion. That's very powerful. Even after life on earth, he would like for people to go by and see that he served. That's powerful. Even though my father and I had a lot of differences, we were like oil and water, I had to respect the man for that. He was a proud truck driver. He loved driving a truck in the United States. Loved it. Now, getting to this subscriber. I have listened, I've read a lot of his comments on my channel. We have had conversations on his channel. Here's the thing that makes me question a lot of things. I'm not calling him out. I'm not trying to make him angry. I'm not trying to get myself in trouble here. Hopefully, once this is all over with, he will put out his video and we will continue on to be friends. We will either agree to disagree or we will part ways. I mean, I don't really understand how any of it could be anything else. But getting to this subscriber, like I said, I believe he has immigrated to the United States from another country. My question is, why? Why are you here? What's your reasoning? Is it for a better life? Is it for you knew someone in the United States that you wanted to be with? Maybe your wife? Maybe you had family here that you wanted to be close to? My question is really not deserving of an answer, because I don't even know if you were born in another country and you immigrated here. Like I said, I just assume you did. But if you did, why? You came here just to drive a truck? Like I've already said, the driver shortage is a bunch of hot air and fluff. There's plenty of opportunities here in the United States for Americans to grow and to prosper in trucking. Really, the only benefit I see for an immigrant to come into the United States to drive trucks, and that's all they want to do is drive trucks or operate a trucking business, is to push the market down. Not to lift it up, but to push it down. I have a friend. I've known him for years and years and years. Many, many years. A situation happened to him many years ago, and he decided to uproot and go move in with his mother. It shocked me. It surprised me that he would do this. And I asked him, why are you doing this? Well, because that's just what I want to do. It's like he didn't want to tell the truth of why he was doing this. Later on, after he moved in with his mother, we continued on being friends and talking on the phone. He was joking one day and said, I made the comment, I moved up here, Mom, because you needed me here. And I said, what did your mom say? And he said, she looked at me and said, I was doing just fine before you walked in the door. I think you needed me more than I needed you. Think about that when you think about trucking and immigrants. I think they need us a lot more than we need them. Especially since every year that I was an owner-operator, it got worse and worse and worse and worse for me. But it seemed to get better and better and better for immigrants, and more and more and more kept coming in. I don't think that was just a coincidence. I think the two things had to do with each other. I have heard many people say that the U.S. will pay immigrants' way into the United States, give them cash, and pay them to come into the United States. And once they get here, they are on a monthly income of somewhere around $2,500 cash. I've heard that the U.S. government gives them this money for housing, for clothing, for necessities, for whatever. And I just sit and wonder, why are you giving it to them when my business and my profitability keeps going down, 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 down? Where's mine? Why are we being cut off, and why are these others being lifted up? I don't really understand that. I don't really get that. One year when I was doing my taxes, when Obama was president, one year when I was doing my taxes, every year my taxes landed somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 that I owed to the government. I was an owner-operator. I was paying my taxes in. One year I went to go do them while Obama was president. That particular year, she said, let me look at it. Your bottom line for state and federal is $25,000. Folks, I almost had a heart attack and fell out on the floor. I started screaming, "What are you talking about? I didn't even gross $25,000 this year." Oh, yes, you did. We went up and had a very heated conversation about that, and that's when she informed me that President Obama had removed a lot of tax deductions and increased the tax rate. What else did Obama do? He opened the doors to the United States so immigrants can come flooding in. Remember that? He called them refugees. They were escaping another country. What else did Obama do during his presidency? He loaded a commercial plane up with pallets on top of pallets on top of pallets of cash money and flew it into Iran. When our government does stuff like this, there's repercussions for the people that live here. I got slammed with taxes that year. I told that lady I would not accept that return, that whatever happened, it will be revised. She looked back at it. I think she brought it down to, $22,000. And she said, that's it. I can't go anymore. We will get red flagged. We will get audited. That's it. That's as far as I can go. I said, fine. Don't worry about it. I'll pick up my return and I'll take it somewhere else and get a second opinion. I went and had a second opinion done at a totally different CPA. That other CPA said I wouldn't have taken as much deductions as what she did. She's correct. You could get red flagged for an audit. And I said, how is it that my taxes landed between $3,000 and $5,000 every single year until this year, and now it jumped to $25,000, $22,000? What happened? My income did not come up. Well, I'm sorry, it's the federal government and their tax rates. Punish the people that are here and give to the people that are coming in. That is not an American First initiative. It's not. The problem that I have with this subscriber, this person, is not personal. It's not personal. Now, some of the things that he says makes me angry. That is true. He has said some stuff that has made me very angry, but it's not a personal assault on him. It is not a personal bashing of him. My question is, what is going on? And to reference something that you said on your channel, or that you said in one of my comments, that this is just politics. We're never going to change it until we get the laws and the rules changed for politicians to go by. You're right. You're very, very right. You're very true. But do you not see the irony in that as well? If you are an immigrant, we have very, very strict immigration laws in this country. I don't know when you immigrated in. I don't even know if you immigrated in. Are you here legally? I don't know that either. I can't answer that. And you could just put out, yes, of course I'm here legally. And you're not legally. Nobody has a way to dispute it. It's just the fact that you are here. And each year that more and more and more immigrants come to the United States, it gets harder and harder and harder for the United States citizens to work and to make a living. And that's not only the government. That is not only the only thing the government is doing. They are giving handouts by the bundles to what they call minority people or underprivileged people. The welfare system. They are trying to buy the vote. Where does that money come from? The middle class. Something else that you have said that I want to bring up. And this is a little more personal thing, but it's just confusing to me. You have brought up the fact that you bought another house, that you were wanting to turn it into an Airbnb. It didn't work out for whatever reason. You took a HELOC out on your home and you bought this other house. Okay? Here's the thing that throws me all off by that. And you also brought up the thing to stay out of debt so you don't have to work so hard and don't have to put in so many hours, because being out on the truck and working so hard is killing people. Right? You said all of this stuff. If I remember correctly, you said you paid $400,000 for this second home. Over $400,000 for this second home. And you had to take a HELOC out on your current home. Now that $400 may be the HELOC and the price of that other home combined. I don't know. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I just heard the $400 and something thousand. Now the state you live in, right? That state has much higher property values than Arkansas, the state that I live in. Okay? That throws up two red flags to me. One, the only way that I have been able to offset my taxes since Obama has been in office. Now, during Trump's presidency, it went way down. He gave tax credits and tax cuts to hardworking Americans. He gave the tax cuts out there, right? My taxes fell off. Income was coming up. Everything was going great. I thought I was coming out and being profitable in my business again. And then Biden come in and just slammed it back down into the ground again. And here I went back down into a downward spiral. During that period of time, I had another house as well. I'm going to do a video on everything that happened with that. Full disclosure. It was liberal, stupid, idiotic laws and rules that pushed me out of that first house. That's what happened. But I'm here to tell you the only way that I could show on my taxes to where I could do that lower tax rate was to pull my overhead down, to pull out every deduction that I could possibly pull out. When that happens, it pulls your taxable net down too. It was almost impossible for me to buy the house that I live in now. I had to go with a second-rate mortgage company in order to get the house that I have now. I had to go with the second-rate mortgage company, a higher interest loan, because my gross was so low to offset having to pay this 20-something thousand dollars per year in taxes, right? Something doesn't fit right there, because if you really did pay 400 and something thousand dollars for this one house that was a second house, that entire time that I was an owner operator, the entire time I was an owner operator, I didn't have $500,000 worth of debt that entire time, much less one house and one payment. I don't really understand, for one, how you got that loan, unless you're paying like $50,000 or $60,000 a year in on taxes. Are you? Are you showing a taxable net that high that you're showing that you make $150,000 a year, and you're paying taxes on that, and you're paying $50,000 or $60,000 a year on taxes on that amount of money, and you're not holding out deductions, you're just giving that money to the government so it makes you more favorable for a loan? My house that I live in now is less than half that cost that you paid. It's less than half of that, and I had to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop with a perfect credit score in order to get that house. Something doesn't seem right. Are you a legal citizen? Are you legally here, and are you paying taxes? Is the federal government giving you money to be here? Are they supplementing your income? How does someone afford something like that that is an owner-operator or an independent with one truck? You have one truck. I have like 10 friends. 10 friends that have one truck. And they live very simple, meager lifestyles. None of them are in debt for $500,000. None of them. They could just hope and wish to have a $500,000 loan. They wouldn't know what to do with a $500,000 loan. And you said you got that on one house, and then you want to put out a comment about being debt-free or being low in debt so you don't have to work so hard? Something is not right with that. Something is not right with that at all. I don't understand that at all. Not in the least. The other thing that made me so mad Friday is a comment that you made about politics. A comment that you made about politics. Something about, well, we're never going to change until the politics change, until we get all rules and regulations in to limit the government's overreach, or whatever it was that you said. I don't remember the exact words, or something like that. And another thing, that truckers don't like talking about politics. They don't have time for it. It seems like to me you have plenty of time for it. You're watching my videos, you're commenting on them. Other people's watching them, other people's commenting on them. I don't have the largest channel that ever was on YouTube, but some of my biggest videos, the most watched videos that I have on my channel, have been political in nature. Not trucking, more political. Something doesn't seem right with that either, to me. And I want to give you a quick civics class, real quick civics class. Our country here in the United States is a constitutional republic. That means it is ran by the citizens of the United States. The government is supposed to hear what the people are saying and to go along with what the people are saying. Our constitutional republic died in 1963 in Dallas, Texas. We had a president named John Fitzgerald Kennedy that was a Democrat and was very, very much loved by the people of the United States. He was seen as a threat. Okay? Now, you can read all kinds of stories, you can watch all kinds of movies, you can do all your research. There's so much controversy around that. Why? You have to look at the politics of the day to put all the pieces together. Right after he was assassinated, the war in Vietnam raged. After that war in Vietnam ended, we started doing trade with China. Right after that, the American dream fizzled and started dying. It has been a downward slope ever since. Why do you think so many people support Trump? Why do you think so many people get behind Trump? Why do you think that he was almost assassinated himself? Because he wants to put the power back in the hands of the people, and the government doesn't like that. These major corporations, these power players, these people that are wanting to pull immigrants into the United States to disperse the people that live in the United States, that are born citizens, they're wanting to hit us from every different direction. Throw everything at us to destroy the United States so they can have control. I think it's so ironic that you say that you don't really support a politician, and politicians are only put in there by big money. I don't think you're seeing the big picture here. I don't think you're seeing the big picture. We're coming full circle back from when John Kennedy was killed, and we are changing. We are coming back out of this as a better, stronger, more patriotic country. And that's another challenge that I want to put out there for you. If you did immigrate here from the United States or from another country to the United States, and you are very, very patriotic to this country, and you appreciate so much what this country has provided for you, it doesn't matter if you're immigrant or not, if you're a natural born citizen. Why is it on your YouTube that you are flying the flag of another country? If this country means so much to you, if you are so full of pride for being here in this country, and you're wanting to help somebody and to better truckers and to better this country and to better everything about it, why are you flying the flag of another country? It may be rude to me to say this. All of this may be rude of me to say. But if that is the honest truth, the way you feel, then you should have the U.S. flag just beaconing across your channel. And you should be just screaming at the people that are here illegally. I know how hard it is to immigrate into the United States. I know how hard it is. You either have to have a sponsor, you have to have a visa. It takes years to process paperwork. It takes so much money, so much time, so much effort. And you do all of this, and then you celebrate another country that was holding you back? Why? I challenge you to put out a video in response to this. I challenge you to put out a video condemning all illegal citizens, all illegals that call themselves citizens, to denounce everybody that is here illegally. And I challenge you to be a patriotic American that loves and appreciates what America has given you. And I challenge you to support politics that puts America first. I'm an American. This is where my mind is. This is where my heart is. This is where my family is. There is no country in this world as great as the United States. I challenge you to say the same thing.